Sometimes it seems like everyone wants you to do them a favour, even when you're up to your neck in other things. Yet try as you might, you find it almost impossible to utter that simple two-letter response. Absolutely yes. In this video, I'll give you 4 tips from psychology that will help you say no when you want to say no without feeling bad about it. Your resources are finite and you have neither the time nor the energy to say yes to every request that comes your way. Trying to do too much for too many people will only mean that you won't be able to properly honour the commitments you've made. And the people that you said yes to in order to please will only ultimately end up feeling disappointed and let down. Saying yes to every request that comes your way is not even necessarily always well received by the people that make the requests. Research investigating what college students felt were their friends' best and worst traits revealed that being too agreeable or people-pleasing was often viewed as a friend's worst trait rather than a best trait.
Ironic.
The first thing you need to understand about saying no is that it can do every bit as much to foster good relationships and preserve social harmony as saying yes. Requests for help often put you on the spot and make you feel under pressure to respond there and then. If you can't think of an immediate, clear and justified reason for saying no, then you'll likely say yes just to escape the discomfort that being blindsided by a request that you're ill-prepared to say no to will cause you. You need to think about refusal in such a way that your intention to say no will translate to you actually saying no when the need arises. To specify the cue that will generate the refusal and the verbal response that will be associated with that cue using the if-then method. For example, if my manager asks me to work overtime today, then I will say I won't work overtime because I have family commitments that I don't want to be late for. If you're concerned about upsetting people by saying no to them, then you may be tempted to phrase a refusal as if it was somehow out of your hands as opposed to a personal choice. Oh, I'm sorry, but I just can't fit that work into my schedule today. Did you notice the use of the word can't in that refusal? It might not sound like much, but it weakens the refusal because the implication is that you've only refused because it's not possible for you to say yes, rather than a choice that you've made to say no. Of course, the problem with this is that the person making the request might then respond by trying to make it possible for you to say yes.
That's a bummer.
Try replacing words that imply that your refusal isn't a choice, such as I can't or I'm not able to, with words that convey that the refusal is a choice you've elected to make, such as I don't want to or I'm not prepared to. I'm not prepared to take on additional work today. If the prospect of upsetting someone by saying no to them is making you anxious, try initially practicing in low-stakes situations where you don't feel especially obliged to the person making the request, and where saying no won't be a big deal for them. Would you like to see the wine list, sir? No thanks, I'm good. Then, gradually work your way toward making refusals in higher stakes situations. This process of gradually increasing the intensity of your exposure to an anxiety-provoking stimulus is a tried and trusted method in psychotherapy. With a bit of practice, you'll notice a couple of things. First, saying no doesn't invariably feel bad. In fact, quite the opposite. It gives you a sense of agency and empowerment and puts you at the centre of your decision making. Second, the people making requests of you rarely respond to refusal as badly as you might have imagined. In fact, they might even commend you for being forthright. Your time and energy is precious and finite, and you need to be able to conserve both by saying no when it's appropriate to do so. If this is something you've struggled with in the past, then try thinking of saying no as a skill that needs to be learned and practiced rather than something that should come naturally. You might be surprised at how quickly you become more comfortable with saying no when the need arises. In view of what we've covered in this video, I guess now might not be the best time to ask you to like and subscribe, but see you in the next video.